Hi guys, welcome back into the DOOP podcast. This is Zero, and a few things to go over in this episode here. First of all, the Union just signed a Venezuelan player, Jesus Bueno, who was playing in I think the top league in Venezuela. Why do I have trouble saying that name? Saying that word, Venezuelan. Gosh. But anyways, he's 22 years old. I really don't know anything about this guy, to be honest. Let's just look up here. He's 22 years old. He played from Deportivo Lara at a Venezuelan top flight. Yeah. He's actually the team's captain. He served as the team's captain anyways, even though he's only 22. He's a midfielder. I don't know. I think he's more of a central holding midfielder than he is like attacking wise. But again, I'm not sure. He's going to be added to that crop of midfield with Jose Martinez, Leon Flock, Bedoya, Montero. Hopefully he works out well. I mean, obviously Ernst Tanner and the group, they see something in him enough to sign him from that club. He's 22 years old. I don't know how much the deal was for, but it's a new face and fresh legs in that midfield. But they could probably use a little more depth. A guy that's got a little bit of experience, because most of the Union's bench lately has been unproven homegrowns, which it's good to get those young players some time, but at the same time, they don't have the experience that you kind of need at times. But I like the way Quinn Sullivan and Jack McGlynn have been playing, though, off the bench. Quinn Sullivan's been very good to watch lately. He's been getting a lot of shots on target. He's been making good runs. He's been providing a spark off the bench, Quinn Sullivan. So it's good to see with Fontana out. Ilsinho did return in the last game. We'll talk about the last game in just a bit. But Jesus Bueno, don't know how much he's going to play. I don't foresee him playing a ton of minutes unless there's like some injuries, really, because Curtin seems to have the guys that he likes playing. And I just don't see him getting a ton of minutes. Maybe if Jose Martinez gets suspended and he doesn't want Flock in there, I don't know. I really don't know. But we'll see, because Gazda's been playing better lately. He's been picking up a few assists, so you got to keep him on the field too, I think. The Miami game, though, was very frustrating. Obviously, they lose to Orlando 2-1. Casper, the friendly striker, scores late in that one, but it's not enough. The game against Miami frustrated me because Miami's playing horrible this season. They've been no good. They have very little offense. They don't know what they're doing. They have a coach that's on the hot seat. They have superstar so-and-so superstar players that are underperforming. They just have a system that's not working. A defense that's been in shambles, inconsistent goalkeeping. A lot going wrong in Miami. They haven't won in a long time. They had lost something like 6 games in a row or something going into that game against the Union. And they end up scoring a goal on near post on Freese. It was not a great... Freese should have saved it. He got a good hand on it, and the shot still was... what's his name? Robbie Robinson on the near post. Coming in, takes a strike. It was a tough angle, and like I said, it was right at Matt Freese, more or less. Got his left hand to it. Wasn't strong enough, and it goes in. Freese has to be strong there. I'm sorry, but Andre Blake's making that save, and he's palming that thing away. And to safety, or in blocking it at least. Freese got in good position, but he just couldn't make the save. I really like Matt Freese. He's not performed well in the games he's played this season. He just looks a little shaky. He did settle down after that, made some good plays. But, he's got to have that save. We needed him to make that save, and he didn't do it. So they score. And for a while, it looked like we were going to lose that game. It looked like, that's it. We started putting on pressure then later. He moved Gazdag into the central attacking midfield role, which is where he should be. Problem right now with Curtin is he's playing Gazdag out of position. He's starting him on one of the wing positions, putting Montero behind the ball. Or no, actually he's putting Gazdag, as a second striker. Or like as a forward up there alongside Shobilko, and that's not his position. He looks uncomfortable there. He doesn't get involved in the game. Gazdag needs to be in the central midfield role. Every time he puts him there, he starts performing. He got 2 assists in that one game, and now he, I don't know if he technically got an assist for this one, but he'd helped. I think he was involved in setting up this goal. Quinn Sullivan as well involved in setting up this goal, sending it across to Casper, the friendly striker, who just barely squeezes it over the line. I don't know if it was it Ilsinho that got involved too. Ilsinho came off the bench in this game. Really, really good to see him playing again. He hasn't played since like the second game of the season or something. And he was obviously providing a bit of a spark as well, doing his little jukes and stuff. And, you can tell he's not going to be a 90-minute player ever again. And he hasn't been in quite some time. But he's still going to be that guy that can come in for the final, 25, 30 minutes of the game and make a difference. So, I'm glad to have him back. And it's a big spark because we needed that off the bench. Corey Burke was still away. So the next game is against Chicago Fire at home. They got to win this game. They need 3 points. Too many ties lately for the Union. They've given up too many sloppy goals. Not enough clean sheets. Getting Blake back is going to be big help. Getting Corey Burke back is going to be big help because Casper needs some help scoring goals right now. Sergio Santos went on a little bit of a run, but now he's back to being inconsistent and just not performing and not getting involved enough. That's what happens with him. He has 1 or 2 really good games, and then he goes away for 3 or 4 games, and it's like we need him to be more consistent. Casper is our most consistent striker for sure, but Corey Burke's been very good this season. Good to have him back from the Gold Cup. Should provide some goal help for Casper, hopefully, in this next game. And obviously Andre Blake back is... you just can't measure the value that he brings to the team. You realize how much we really need him in plays that have happened, with Matt Fries in the past couple games. And Fries is still a young player, still learning, still trying to get confidence. He hasn't played at all this season till these games, so it was, I guess it was expected for him to be a little rusty. But we need him to shake that off, and he could be the goalie of the future for the Union for sure. Not only the Union, but he could be one in the conversation for the U.S. men's national team. I really think Fries has a lot of talent. That's what I'm saying. I think that he can be very good. So I'm kind of hard on him right now because I know I've seen him do good. He's had really good games in the past, some clean sheets and performances where you say, oh yeah, this kid's got it, and he does. He just made a couple of mistakes this season, and he's going to learn from those, hopefully. But another thing worth mentioning is the Union have re-signed not only Jim Curtin, but Ernst Tanner to a couple-year multi-year contract extensions. Fantastic. I think that's great. Ernst Tanner's been signing... A lot of his signings have been home runs. I mean, you look at players that he's brought in, like Kai Wagner, Leon Flock, Jacob Glesnes, Jose Martinez. Who else? I mean, that he's brought in that has just been absolute, home runs. And, we'll see if the Jesus Bueno one works out. Gazdag could end up being a really good signing. I'm still not sure about him, but he's been good lately. He's been getting more involved in the games, and he's been creating stuff like you need from your number 10. His first goal is coming. It's just a matter of time. Hopefully he'll get one tomorrow in the game against Chicago, assuming that Curtin starts him in that attacking mid role. Montero was pulled off in that last game. He was not happy to come out, but Montero, he's one of the players that needs to step it up. Him. Martinez needs to do a little bit. The defense needs to shore up a bit. It's been they feel like they're kind of complacent. They're playing every game, They know they're going to be in there. I need them to be a little bit sharper back there. We get beaten too many plays. And that midfield needs to tighten up a bit too on defense. Bedoya seeming like he's slowing down a bit. He's not a 90-minute player right now. Still brings that energy, still brings that leadership, still makes a lot of good plays out there, but he slows down in the second half. And Curtin's starting to realize that, and he's pulling him out of the game. So your captain might not be a 90-minute player for much longer. He's he leaves it all out in the field, though. He sure does. You can tell when he starts to tire out. But he's hustling out there, trying to do what he can for the team. Always. I love Bedoya. He's been a wonderful servant to this team. It's kind of sad to see him slowing down a bit. He is 34. He runs his socks off every game. He plays every game. That's a guy, you think about it, this guy plays every freaking game. Whether it's starting or off the bench, it's usually starting. And all the tournament games, the Open Cup games he'll play in, the freaking, Champions League he'll play in, of course. And, obviously he's going to get tired. He's probably feeling a little fatigued. I think some of these guys are starting to feel a little fatigued at this point. They played a lot of games this season, a lot in quick succession. We need more squad rotation. I like seeing guys like Sullivan and Jack McGlynn step in and perform pretty well. But we might need a little shake up in the back. Maybe get Stuart Finley another game in there or something, or bring a Matt Real in for a game or something, just to give these guys a break. Bizo had a little bit of a rough game, I think, against Miami. But again, we don't really have a backup for him. Besides, well, we actually know I lied. Elvis Powell, who's now back from the Jamaican national team as well, because he's only played, I think, 1 or 2 games for the Union so far, but he gives us a little bit more depth there, the veteran player. I mean, we gotta beat Chicago, though. We really do. We really have to beat Chicago. Because Chicago's not good this season at all. I've said that before. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Them and Miami are dumpster fires there in the Eastern Conference right now. Chicago doesn't know what they're doing. They got players who they signed are not even good, are just not performing well for them. They just have the terrible defense. The offense is very, very inconsistent there. Miami's offense is even worse, but Chicago at home, we have to beat them. Like, if we tie or lose to them, then I'm going to start being concerned, because I'm starting to get a little bit of concern. I think a lot of Uni fans are, I think some of you are pretty anxious and upset right now and concerned about the team right now and how we're underperforming considering what we did last season in the regular season. We're 6-4-6 right now. It's not the worst record, but it's not great. New England's running away with this conference. Another thing is, right now we currently sit 5th. Top 7 go to the playoffs. 5th place with 24 points. Orlando's in 2nd with 28. New York and Nashville are ahead of us. Columbus is right there with us. They're even on points. Montreal, they win their next game. They have 25 points. And with the same amount of games played. And New York and Nashville ahead of us both have played one less game than us. So Union are in trouble. 8th place is DC with 20 points, but they've played one less game than us. So we're barely in a playoff spot right now. But the Red Bulls also have 18 points, 6 below us. They've played 2 less games. They played today, today against New England, I think. Which hopefully New England will beat them. And you got, hungry teams like Atlanta and Toronto, who are big clubs that are going to try and rise up there. And Cincinnati, who are starting to play a little better, are going to try and rise up there. But I don't know. It's hard to believe that anybody's going to catch New England up on top unless they really start to falter. But New England has a lot of depth and a really good squad, really good coach, really good players that just make plays and can dominate games and take over at any point. It's the problem with the Union. They don't have that. Montero, could be that at times. Will Gazdag be that? I don't know. Time will tell, but we just gotta beat Chicago. We gotta beat Chicago. Get back to your confident ways. Get a shutout. Get a nice 2-3-0 victory over Chicago. Get your confidence back. Get somebody other than Casper to score some goals. Maybe Gazdag pops up with one. Maybe Montero gets back. Maybe Bedoya gets one. Be nice to see him get a goal. Corey Burke could get one. Maybe Olsinio comes off the bench and gets one. We'll see. Maybe Quinn Sullivan gets another one. Who knows? But just at this point, who cares? Just get a win, get 3 points. However you do, we need that. I still think this club can finish second in the East. It's going to be a dogfight, though. A lot of teams right now very close to one another on points or even with points. Every game matters now. They got to make it count. Jesus Bueno coming in. I don't know if he'll provide the spark that we need. I don't know. We'll see if he plays. That's the thing. Will he play a lot? Another thing I wanted to talk about was they also re-signed Andre Blake to a new deal, which is very nice. So I don't remember when he was signed, what the deal was for that. Let me see if I can find out what the contract was. Also worth noting, Sergio Santos is suspended for this next game against Chicago. He will not be in there. So that's one less striker. So now they're down to 2 strikers. He's suspended by the disciplinary committee for allegedly kicking or throwing an object towards the fans in the Miami game out of frustration, probably. So, that's not cool. Shame on you, Sergio Santos, for doing that. I get it. He's frustrated. I don't think he deliberately tried to throw something at a fan. I think he just was frustrated, probably kicked or threw something in the direction of fans. And that's just not cool. So, a well-deserved suspension for him. And it's just going to slow down any momentum that he might have had before. So, and that gives us one less striker to play with. So I won't be surprised if Curtin goes with a one forward system. I want him to start Shabilko up top with Montero just below him. And then, or even Quinn Sullivan just below him or something, or Montero just below him. With Gazdag in the attacking mid-role where he's best at and clearly most effective in. Bedoya on one side and maybe Sullivan or Flock on the other side with Martinez in that holding midfield role. That's what I'd like to see in this next game. If he starts Corey Burke, then that's fine, but I feel like you might want him off the bench in case, you need a forward off the bench. I'd like to see Quinn Sullivan get another start. But, we'll see what he does. I don't think I think he'll probably start Burke up top then with Shabilko. Put Montero in that attacking mid-role, although I'd rather see Gazdag there. Put Montero out wide. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so the Union signed Andre Blake to a multi-year contract extension. This is huge because obviously this is a guy that's probably getting interest from many clubs. Andre Blake, one of the best keepers in MLS. Probably the best keeper in CONCACAF right now. It has to be said. Contract extension through 2024. The club option for 2025. He's 30 years old, so he still has pretty much a number of years left at the top of his game. For keepers, 30 is not old. When they start getting 36, 37, then you can start seeing them really slow down. So Blake will have the rest of his pretty much prime years here with Philadelphia. This is a guy that's been on Philadelphia his whole career here. So this is really nice to see. He wants to win a cup here. that makes me happy to see that he's coming back. Curtin's going to be here for a couple more years, as well as Ernst Tanner, to help continue to build this franchise in the right direction. We got to get a cup in these next couple of years, though. We really do. I thought maybe last year was our real chance, but like I said, some of these younger players keep building up. Maybe we'll have more shots at that. This year it's going to be tough. There's a lot of teams I think are better than us and stronger than us, have more talent than us. But can they will themselves in the playoffs? It's all about those playoffs, but they got to get there first. Anyway, so the Chicago game is tomorrow. I'll be watching that game. I'm off work. Hopefully I'll be watching that game if I can find a stream of it. I should be able to. And I'll be rooting for the Union, of course, and need those 3 points. So yeah, that's about it. One other thing was the Union are rumored to sign a Brazilian forward as well, who I think is like 19, 20 years old or something. Obviously he plays in Brazil, so I don't know if they will sign him or not. BEUNO was one who was rumored to be signed, and they did end up signing him. So I can't remember. I think the name of this guy's name is like Dabo or something like that. I can't remember. But they want to get another forward in here, which they did need, and it'll be another young player, which is pretty crazy that they're signing more young players. I like that. They brought in Leon Flock, who's a non-homegrown young player, and now BEUNO, and now perhaps another one from Brazil. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to this DOOP podcast here on July 31st, the final day of July 2021. Let's see what the Union can do going forward. Appreciate the support on the channel, guys. Keep safe. Go Union. And until next time, 0 is the number.